Hello, welcome to my other show. My name is Susan Rushton, and this is Muse. This is the show on which I'm allowed to, I get to, I'm privileged to, I'm tickled to, I'm excited to talk to people in the Auburn area who are visited by the Muse. And my guest today is my ACTV boss, Phil Jacques, who is general manager of Auburn Community Television, ACTV. And if you are interested in contacting him, his email at the station is auburntv@gmail.com. Welcome, Phil. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this show, I talk about the people who are visited by the Muse, and you are involved in various artistic activities, and this is, I think, the least artistic of what you do, because there are other artistic activities that you're involved in. But let's talk about Auburn Community Television first. How long have you been involved with it?
You know, I think it's been about 7 years now, much to my surprise.
Yeah.
It has kind of flown by.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
And why did you get started with this?
You know, it was actually, I was retired. I had retired from my job as a semiconductor sales exec.
Okay.
I was in the semiconductor field. And after about 6 months of the idle retired life, I was just going crazy. I was just going crazy. So I got into acting. I had always wanted to be on stage ever since I was a kid, and I figured, you know, why not now? And so I was on stage, so I got involved in theater, and that's how I met Paula Johnson, who was the manager of ACTV at that time. So how did I get involved with this? It was serendipitous.
Okay. She popped up and are you interested in, and
she was at the State Theater filming one of our other earlier productions, and I walked over to her because I was fascinated.
What are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because I also love photography, so I was very interested.
Yes, you do love photography. Yeah. This is his. His, everybody.
Yes, thank you. So I started talking to her about the camera and the equipment and the audio, and then pretty soon we just kept kind of meeting at the State Theater and I'm striving to remember why she was filming this particular play, and it may have been a favor to somebody in the cast. And that's how I met Cody, and pretty soon I got hired on as a tech.
And Cody was her assistant.
She was, Cody was her assistant at the time.
Yeah.
Cody was in high school. He taught me the job, which I'll never forget because I was getting paid. He was not. He was a volunteer who knew more than I did, and yet I wound up, and he was so good about that. And he taught me we were at the high school at the time.
Okay.
Taught me all this stuff. So that's how I got involved.
So this is your only television experience?
Actually, I had experience in television about 35 years ago in Silicon Valley. When I was down there, my wife at the time and I did a interview show for a community access TV station in Silicon Valley. But I never even thought I would ever wind up doing this, you know, as a part-time retirement job.
Yeah, be behind the camera instead of in front. Yeah. Okay. What is community access television? Community
access television has kind of evolved over the years, but what it really is now is a way for the local community, members of the local community, such as yourself.
And you who are watching.
To come on and have access to television. We're television for the little guy. Right?
Yes.
We don't have any corporate sponsors. We don't sell advertisement, but we get funding through Wave Cable. And so we're TV for the little guy. And if you have an idea, if you have a passion, and you really want to teach or reach out to other people, this is a way in which you can do that.
Okay.
And it's a fun way to do it. I mean, it's fun to be on TV. It's fun to say you're a producer.
It's a tad stressful.
Yes. Well, a tad stressful, but still, nonetheless, I have a TV show.
Yeah.
Would you like to be my guest?
Yes.
Right? So it's kind of nice.
Yes. So if someone is interested, what should they do?
They should contact me.
At auburntv@gmail.com.
Correct. Or-
auburntv@gmail.com.
Or my phone number.
And I don't have it.
That's all right, I do. It's 916-717-0995. Call, leave me a message, I'll get back to you.
Okay.
And if
Or text, right?
or text, you can text that number. Thank you so much.
Yes.
And then we'll discuss the idea of the show. Is it just a one-off, or is it a real, like yours? Yours is a series.
Yes.
Which, by the way, the audience should know that Susan is the longest continuous producer of ACTV. She supersedes me. She's been with us. You've been with us for 20 years now.
At least, yeah.
At least that long, right?
Yeah.
So, and when you think about all the people that you have interviewed and brought in and introduced to the community, it's really quite amazing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And when I was first approached by the then, general manager, she did this in front of people. A classroom, and would you like to be a director? And I said, how much does it pay? And she said, it doesn't pay anything.
See, I would have said the emotional rewards are priceless.
And you get recognized.
Your heart account will be full.
Yes. So that's true, and I've had a great time, and I've enjoyed very much doing this with you.
Oh, thank
and
you.
This is the first time I've ever interviewed the general manager of ACTV, and that says a lot.
Oh.
So that's being involved with ACTV.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you are. Here's another thing that's even more artistic than what you do behind the camera. How long have you been acting?
I have been acting now for, I guess, about 12 or 13 years. I picked it up when I retired.
Okay.
And I tried out for a play with Placer Community Placer Community Theater.
Uh-huh.
And I got the lead of that particular play that they were doing.
Do you remember the play?
Yes, it was called River Wind.
Oh my!
And
okay.
It was a pretty sad play, actually. It wasn't a very good play. Its biggest claim to fame was Jane Fonda was the lead role when the play was on Broadway.
Okay.
But the point is, I got this part.
Yes.
And it just took off from there. I just started being in play after play after play, and then I joined the board of PCT, and I was their vice president for a number of years.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And you also, that they don't have a specific place to perform?
They do not. No,
okay.
it's
so they go all over the place.
They do. They generally do the State, or they do the Gomez Art Center. Mm-hmm. Their next coming play, and forgive me, I forget where
That's
it's
okay.
going to be, but
I think it's at the Gomez.
No, it's not. No,
Sorry.
it's somewhere else, and
Yeah.
it's new. It's new to me, so that's why it's not ringing a bell for me.
Yeah.
So
okay, so that play is going to be at the First Congregational Church. We don't remember the date, but it's coming up in spring of 2022. It is at the top of the hill off of Auburn Ravine at the First Congregational Church in Auburn. So, what do you think makes an effective actor?
I think that, and it takes time. It takes time. At first, you are kind of acting at acting, right?
Okay.
And it's a psychological thing, I think, more than anything. But after a while, what you learn is that your best performances come when your ego is set aside and you allow and you become this character.
Okay.
And sometimes it can be quite interesting, and at other times it can be quite scary. I played a character one time that I hated the character. And the more I felt that character come out of me, the more I realized I made a mistake here. I shouldn't be. I hate this character.
Oh. Did you do it well, though?
I did and I didn't. It turned out that was a pivotal point of my life. I became very ill. I had to actually, it was the one and only time I dropped out of a play.
Oh, yes.
But it's a good thing I did, because that led to a whole series of diagnostic tests, and then ultimately to a surgery.
So
that
acting
fixed
has
me.
saved your life.
You know, that's a very good way to look at it, isn't it? I like that. You should be in marketing. Acting saved my life.
Yeah. So, so you say you become the other character. You're the character that you're playing.
Yes, and it's a delicate thing, and you have to keep trying that character. You have to keep allowing, what would the character do, and when will this character come out? And I think that the two performances where I got recognized by Sarta were when I really did that, when it wasn't me anymore on stage, it was the character on stage. And that would be, of all people, I played Big Daddy in Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. Now, I am not a physically imposing guy.
True.
And that character, Burl Ives, you're expecting this really big, burly
angry
guy.
And
so I had to come out, big personality to try to dominate the stage, which is what that character does.
Sure.
And even then, it took maybe by the third performance before suddenly it wasn't me on stage, it was Big Daddy on stage. So it's a subtle psychological thing. But now I study acting. When I watch some of the Academy Award winners, and you look at this actor playing this role, you're not seeing the actor. You're seeing this character, and that's quite good.
If the actor's doing it right.
Correct.
Yeah.
If the actor is doing it correctly. Some actors are just stereotyped. It's not,
So what is Sarta?
Sarta is the Sacramento Area Regional Theater Association.
And they give awards?
They do. They go out and, although I understand they're pulling back from that, but they're kind of a big support agency for all the theaters, all the way out to Jackson, Wheatland. I mean, every theater, high school and community theater. They don't cover professional theater. They cover community theater, as a way to advertise your play, as a way to get the word out about your organization. And then for a numerous amount of years, they gave out what was known as the, Ellie Award? No, but the Ellies were just on. I forget what it was. At any rate, they give out these awards for, best performance, best lighting, best sound, best everything.
Set and,
those kind of things.
Okay.
So it's a nice recognition.
And you've received?
I have never won. I've been nominated for Best Actor in a Supporting Role, and when I did Big Daddy, interestingly enough, in Cameron Park, that was also played, that guy got nominated. I did not. I got a Outstanding Achievement Award. But it's kind of like a bronze medal in the Olympics.
Yeah, but you'll take it.
But nonetheless, it was recognition that, hey, that was a good job you did. So it was nice.
Yes. So what do you think the best thing is about acting for you?
I think the best thing about acting is it allows you to become... It allows you to view the world differently and to portray that world that character sees. So it stretches your boundaries. It also stretches your own personal courage. After all, you're standing on stage in front of people. What happens if you make a mistake, right? Or what happens if they don't like you? Too bad. You still have to go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
So I think it allows you to expand your own sense of identity and courage, but it also allows you to see the view. And if you take Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, that's a very southern way of looking at the world.
Yeah.
And how did they see the world? How did that character understand the world? So for me, it's a lovely experience. And a challenge. I always take it as a challenge. Can I portray this person? Set aside me and become that person.
Okay.
So it's fascinating.
Have you ever not gotten a role?
Yes, as a matter of fact, again, I'll just keep using this. Big Daddy I did not get when I auditioned for the play. Another person who had directed me earlier got the part. But he had an injury and had to drop out.
Okay.
And so the director called me. So I was, he brought me off the bench.
Okay.
And boy, am I happy he did. I just loved that role.
Good.
Right. The guy that directed me previously was the character I hated. The character I played, in my opinion, was a psychopath, serial murderer.
Right.
And I had to be devious to my character wife because I'm trying to kill my wife on stage. And boy, I just hated it. I just hated that.
Yeah.
I just hated it. But when he would come into me, I could sense it, and I'm doing a good job here, but my God, I hate what I'm portraying,
And because I think it may be that a professional actor who may not get that, who may not have that aspect.
Let's take the character who was my wife at the time.
Okay.
A very fine actress, Del Dozier.
Okay.
Right before each time we would go on stage, we were right off wing, right behind the curtain. I would come to her and I would say, I apologize in advance for the horrible things I am going to say and do to you. It's not me, it's Sydney.
Yeah.
Was the name of the character. But here I am on stage and I'm consciously trying to deceive her because I'm going to murder her. Boy, it was
It felt wrong.
Oh, it felt wrong. I was just, this is not me. I should never have taken this role. So I guess that in a way that was my ultimate challenge.
Okay.
So I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. Yeah. What advice do you have for beginners?
Don't give up. Like anything. My advice for someone beginning anything, don't give up.
Keep doing it.
Keep doing it. Make every mistake that you can possibly make.
That's wonderful advice to me.
Be as embarrassed as you can possibly be, but if you love it, don't give up. Because it's not the things you do really well that stick with you, it's the time you messed up that you'll say, boy, I'll never do that again. And that's where the lessons lie, and the appreciation. Some of the shows that I do I direct for ACTV are like the artist shows when I'm filming artists making a pottery or firing a platter. And they make a mistake, right? And they'll say, oh my goodness, I just messed that up. And they can come back in and fix it. That's what you want to be able to do.
Yeah.
Go ahead and make that mistake, fix it, don't give up, and keep going.
Right.
Yeah.
It's also, I have interviewed, and you know this, musicians who know they're going to make a mistake. They know. Even though they're brilliant, they're going to make a mistake, but they don't dwell on it.
No.
They're doing just fine. Oops, they make a mistake, and now that's gone, and now you have to keep going.
Right.
Because there are other people you're working with.
And that's a very difficult skill to learn. Remember your last guest, the violinist, Urs, was here.
Yes.
And he talked about mistakes. When he's in a quartet, he feels the pressure of performing that much greater because a mistake that he knows he's probably going to make is amplified, as opposed to a symphony where he's just one of many strings, right? So you're in a live performance and you just made a mistake. Well, you know it, and in my case, the actor I'm playing off of, he or she knows it as well. So you try to fix it as best you can. Either the other actor saves you, or you realize it and you work your way out of it. But if you stay stuck there, then the mistakes just cascade from that point on.
Yeah.
And it's hard to say, okay, boom, let it go, keep going.
Yeah.
But what a marvelous discipline to learn.
Yes.
What a marvelous discipline to learn. Not to deny it, but to live with it and still turn lemons into lemonade, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm remembering when you were acting as in the Scrooge show.
Yes, yes.
In Nevada City. My husband and I met you outside afterward, and you said, "Oh my God! Oh, we made a mistake." Really? I said.
Yes.
I understood. I didn't notice it, but I wasn't the actor.
Yeah. See, that's a good point. You and the other actor know it. Most likely the audience does not.
Right.
Unless you just pratfall on, so after the performance, you can beat yourself up all you want. But during the performance, you're not allowed that luxury.
Yeah. And I'm talking to you that when you make a mistake and you're going to, it's better if you don't beat yourself up.
Yeah,
Please.
At the moment, try not to.
Yeah.
But then,
and you can do better, and if you beat yourself up, that seems hard on yourself.
Well,
I'm talking to myself here.
Yeah. I can say, yes, Susan, you shouldn't beat yourself up for mistakes, but if I make a mistake, that's who's beating me up, right? It's me.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
So you are you are general manager of ACTV. You are an actor, and you're a writer.
Yes.
And you're smirking at me. You're
because I remembered I owed you a piece. I was going to send you a piece.
Okay.
So writing is new to me, and I am enjoying it immensely. Except for writer's block.
Okay.
Okay. You're a writer.
Yes.
You write all the time. When you sit down in front of that blank piece of paper and a pen, and not a single word will come.
That's okay.
Right?
But you go to another paragraph. They'll go to another place.
Yes.
That you want to say.
Well, what I'm learning is you just keep writing. One of the best pieces that I've written turned out that way. It was just arduous. It was almost one word after the next word, and then this happened. And then till finally, oh my goodness, I see what the message is.
Okay.
I see what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And then you go back, and then now everything is rearranged to this point that you're trying to make. And when that happens, boy, it's just magical. I mean, its own endorphins start flowing for you. So it turns out nice. And then again, it's a nice opportunity to try to, how creative can I be with this piece? Is that the right word, or is that not the right word? Is this the right tone I'm trying to present? Is it passive voice or active voice?
Good question.
Yes.
Good question. Passive voice has to do with forms of to be. Am, are, is, was, were, be, being, and something else possibly. But that if you can avoid passive voice, it makes what you write better.
And Susan is the one that taught me passive voice. I showed her a piece I was very proud of. Passive voice. Underline.
Well, yeah.
And then I had to go look it up, and then I've been practicing that. But passive voice comes kind of natural,
because it's so easy.
It's
also
easy.
Invisible.
Yes.
And it's like saying really a lot.
Right.
I told my students when I was teaching college that their grade would go down a letter if I saw a lot or really or.
Oh man, that was intimidating.
And I sometimes I missed it, and then I said, "Oh well, look what I didn't do."
So I'm going to give a plug here to another group I belong to, and this afternoon I'm a group lead. So I'm a beginning writer. I've been writing maybe a year, 2 years maybe. So now I lead a memoir group for Gold Country Writers.
GoldCountryWriters.org?
.org, I believe.
Okay.
Boy, you got me. It's either .com or .org. It's probably a .org, but I'm not 100%. Anyway, this afternoon is a memoir group. So I'm telling a story of when me and my buddies at an Air Force base I lived into, and here's the passive voice, because on base in the corner of the airport by the apron by the river was a group of B-17 bombers. So I realized, wait a minute, that's a passive voice. So now I had to rewrite it to say SAT.
Okay.
A ghost fleet of B-17 bombers. Oh my. The possibilities are endless, right? For a bunch of bored kids.
Lurked.
Yes.
Lurked.
So at any rate, every time I see passive voice in my own writing, I think of you, because you just beat me over the head and shoulders. It was wonderful, Susan, because it was like, well, she's right. My God, I can do better than this. So anyway, so writing is great. It's a marvelous time. Of life. I get to create in photography, in writing, in video, even though editing this show is relatively simple. When I'm on the road or in somebody's studio or with Gwen when she's doing yoga, the editing of it has now become a creative process.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's still a challenge. Video editing, boy, oh my goodness. Endless. It's just endless what you can do.
Good. So you've mentioned editing, and some people think that no, I can do it perfect the first time. And no, you can't. You really can't. And it's stressful not being able to do it perfectly the first time.
Well, so there's two ways to look at that. I can do it perfect the first time, which means I'm setting a low bar. Okay? It's good enough. Versus, okay, it's good. It is good enough. It will pass. But can I do that better? Can my guest do it better? Can I, if I'm writing, can I make this character richer in detail? If I'm doing photography, what can I learn about editing a photograph? So the idea that I get to, or we, particularly at the stage of life where we are in, can I keep, whoops, I don't know how to turn this off. Wait a minute. Can I keep learning? And the way to keep learning is you've got to keep trying to stretch yourself. One of the things that I admire the most about you is that you're still out there every day. You're talking to you're the voice of the community, right? Your paper, your Auburn Journal column is just a fascinating look at Auburn as a community, a voice from the street kind of a thing. So what I admire about that, because you and I are similar ages, is that you're still out there growing. Yeah, you are. You're still a little kid out there, right?
Yes.
And so I don't have to go to work 40, 50, 60 hours a week anymore. I can take this point in time to go out and be a little kid again, and hopefully do it better this time.
Okay.
That's it. That's my final word.
Phil, thank you very much for being my guest. And this is Phil Jacques, General Manager of ACTV. If you're interested in being ACTV, if you're interested in being a producer, which is what I am, please contact him at auburntv@gmail.com. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again.